name is Kevin Browning, spelled Kevin, last name Browning. I joined the U.S. Army Reserves first. I was still in high school when I joined. So the first year of being in the military, I was able to go to school at Grambling State University. After that, I was voluntold that active duty was part of my future, simply because my unit was being terminated. They were all being pushed to active duty anyway. So it was either stay in the reserves or go to the National Guard, but I'd have to change my location. So instead of changing my location, I went active duty. I wound up in Germany, Hanau, West Germany. Loved it. Was having the time of my life. I was 19 years old and just really enjoyed it. Didn't want to leave. It was a dare between me and two of my friends. The Army recruiter basically came and coerced us into joining together, and he told us that we would all be going to basic training and all this other training together, which that was not the case. I graduated high school on a Tuesday night, and Wednesday morning I was in basic training. Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri is called Fort Lost in the Woods because it's out in the middle of nowhere. It's about 2.5 hours outside of St. Louis. Basic training was just as normal trials and tribulations. And considering I was 17 years old when I went through it, it was nothing. It was a fun experience. The camaraderie that I experienced with everyone in Germany was just second to none. You know, being in a foreign country, being young, not knowing what to expect, it was just an awesome time in life. When, Desert Storm came up, we were all young. We had no concept of what it was really about. My job title was a material control and accounting specialist. What that basically is a person that does supply. So when your unit needs whatever, it could be sheets or it could be parts for military vehicles. My job was to requisition my headquarters and figure out a way to try to get that part or that inventory item that was needed. So that was the job in a nutshell, was supply. Well, my job while I was at Fort Hood, I worked out at Hood Army Airfield. And as the planes started coming back from Desert Storm, my job was to assist with the bodies of the fallen soldiers to help them reach to their final destination. So that ended up being my contribution, or my biggest contribution, was to take care of the fallen soldiers and their remains. Yes, because you knew that could have been you. You just knew that your number was waiting to be called. You would be gone. You didn't know what was going to happen from there. And again, at that time, I was 20 or 21, somewhere in there. And it was a scary time. It just was, because anytime anyone mentions war to you, you don't have a real concept of what it is until you're put in that zone. When you're doing basic training and all the other advanced trainings that you can do, it's nothing compared to, or there's no simulation compared to what it's actually like. I personally prayed a lot. I did. I prayed a lot at that time because, anybody to tell you that they weren't afraid was misleading you. Some people would just get in different areas and play solitary to themselves for several hours, and then they would be sociable again. A lot of us used to go off to the basketball court and just, run off some steam that way. But there was nothing specific that you could do over and over that would prepare you for it. So he just was trying to find different things to occupy your mind. December 20th, 1991, I had enough. Um, that was probably one of the happiest days, but it was also one of the saddest days because I didn't want to get out the military. Um, Realistically, I didn't know what I signed up for. So I knew that I wanted to pursue a collegiate path, try to do something different just to make sure that, you know, life didn't have to go down this path. So I took that road. When you're dealing with veterans, first of all, it would be nice or to your advantage to figure out which era or which war they were in, you know, because, for example, like the Vietnam veterans, you know, when I meet them, the first thing out my mouth is welcome home. And then it gets their attention enough for them to be able to understand that you do understand some of the things that they went through. You know, they weren't welcomed back in the United States because of all of the protests and the political climate that was going on back in the, 60s and 70s and so forth. So get to know, I mean, a simple question you can ask them, which war were you in or which era did you serve in? Because each era produced different issues. If you are my age and your child is expressing that they want to go into the military, do not allow them to go in without some kind of path. So if they're going in for school, make that a priority in what you're asking from your recruiter. If they want to be an officer, make sure that you are taking the classes that you need to get there. It's a lot of things that the military can offer you. So I'm not telling you not to send your child there, but what I'm telling you is don't let them go in like I went in, not knowing anything about the military. The military is a great place for someone to make a career, but make sure you got a game plan. Don't go in blindly.